face is so itchy. Hold on. There's like a hair. I don't want to mess up my face. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Happy Hour with Hope. This month we are talking all about the workflows and systems in my business that have made my life easier and my client experience even better on the front end. So if you're tuning in and watching, make sure you pause the video and download the free guide below because it's going to contain content and links and information that you're going to want to follow along with this video. So pause it, download it, it's 100% free, and then come back to tune in. So today I'm going to be talking all about the one workflow and system that I seriously believe changed my entire business and my entire work-life balance. Because tell me if you can relate to this in the comments, because I think we can all relate to this on a spiritual level, is you wake up one morning and you realize, oh my gosh, today is the day that I was supposed to blog, or oh my gosh, I have to come up with an Instagram post today. And it just gets so exhausting and overwhelming trying to figure out what to post the day you're posting it, so you just give up and you don't blog and you don't post on Instagram, and 3 or 4 weeks goes by and you realize that you haven't shared any valuable content, or maybe you haven't shared any content at all, because the concept of blogging and Instagramming and doing it on the day that you're supposed to do it just ends up being overwhelming and causing anxiety and not getting anything done. That was me in the first pretty much 3 years of my business. I wanted to blog on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I would wake up on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to blog today? I have no idea what I'm going to do. And then I'd have to come up with an Instagram post to go along with the blog, or maybe it wasn't even a blog day and I just needed something to share, but I just couldn't pull something out of thin air. And so I just gave up and I stopped sharing content and I focused on other things instead. But the thing that I've realized about both blogging and sharing on any social media platform is that consistency is the number one reason that those types of platforms are not successful. If you are not consistent with your blogging, or you're not consistent with your social media sharing, you're teaching your audience that your content isn't important to you, so it shouldn't be important to them. And you're also not giving them a time to know when to check back for new information. So they may not be checking your blog or your social media because they just don't expect content from you, because there's no consistency in the way that you're sharing. So you need consistency in order to gain a loyal following on those platforms, but you also need consistency for your own sanity, because if you don't have a consistent workflow for these things, one, it's going to drive you crazy and cause a ton of anxiety, and two, it's going to lead to those things just not getting done. So I implemented a workflow into my business over a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, that changed the game for me. And it's going to sound really simple and like something that we should all be doing in common sense, but it's not, because it's not something that we implement into our workflow until we realize how much of a game changer it truly is. So 2 years ago, I decided that I wanted to set specific days of the week dedicated to each specific task that needed to get done in my business. So each day of the week for me has a specific set of tasks that get done. So Tuesdays are editing days, Wednesdays are education days, Thursdays are shooting days, but Mondays are the day of the week that absolutely changed my entire workflow, because Mondays are content creation days for me. So every single Monday, the only thing that I'm working on besides answering emails is creating content for that week. And the goal, and what I do now, is by the end of the day Monday, all of my blog posts and social media posts to go along with them are pre-scheduled and ready to go live. So then the rest of the week, Tuesday through Sunday, I can focus on all of the other things I need to do and know that that side of my business, the content creation for my blog and my social media, is running by itself. And it has created so much freedom in my business. It's created so much sanity for me, and it has built a following on all of my platforms that I never had before, because I wasn't ever sharing consistently. And honestly, I wasn't even sharing valuable content when I was sharing, because I wasn't putting the effort into doing it ahead of time. I was always doing it really last minute. And I didn't realize that there was a system that I could implement that would change the game like this did. I'm going to walk you guys through the 4 things that I do to speed up this process, to allow for me to bulk schedule content ahead of time, and then to let those things run themselves for the rest of the week. The first tool that you're going to need to change the game in your blogging is a program called BlogStomp. BlogStomp is just a program that I swear by, because you can size your images for the blog with one click. So right now, if you're sizing your blog images in Photoshop or maybe in Lightroom, or you're exporting a whole separate gallery in order to have the right size to share, you're spending a lot of time doing something that you don't need to be doing, and that could be causing you to get frustrated and not want to share at all. So I'm going to show you what BlogStomp looks like and why it was a game changer for me, and how you can quickly size your images so that you can schedule things quicker and speed up this whole process. Okay, so this is what BlogStomp looks like when you purchase it on your computer. It's a one-time fee. You don't have to pay monthly, and I swear by this program, I would pay monthly for it if I had to because I love it so much. So when you get BlogStomp, the first thing you're going to do is go into your settings, and you're going to go to styles. And what you're doing with styles is creating presets for the sizes that you need your images to be for various social media and your blog. I only size my images for my blog and for Facebook. The size that you need for your blog is going to depend on the layout of your blog and the platform that you're using. So that's going to be something to ask your designer or your blog provider. But for Facebook, I size my images at 2048 pixels on the long edge. So I have presets created for all of those things for my blog and for Facebook. On Instagram, I'm uploading full resolution images, so I don't size for them, but the blog is what we're going to focus on today. So then what I do is I add all of the images that I need for a blog post into this folder. So let me find the right folder, since clearly that was not the right one. Here we go. We'll do my 2018 year in review picture. So these are actually iPhone images that I'm going to size correctly for my blog that I just airdropped from my phone to my computer. So let's just grab a handful of these. Look how fast I uploaded. That literally took like a split second. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select whatever image I want to size. I'm going to go down to styles and make sure it says the right preset. So this is going to be blog. And then all you do is click stomp it. And what it does is it saves it in the correct size for you in a folder on your desktop. So then you can just upload those images directly to your blog and they're perfectly sized. But one of the beautiful things about it is that you can select as many images as you want and create these really pretty collages or image pairs to include on your blog. And it sizes them perfectly for the blog, no matter how many images you select. So I could do these two together, or I could do all three of these together if I wanted to, and then I can pick the layout that I want over here on the right and hit mix it up to see the different layouts that I can use. And then again, I just click stomp it once I'm done. And it's going to save right here into this stomped folder on my desktop exactly like I just stomped it. It's going to be at the very bottom right here. So then all I do is upload those images directly to my blog, and I'll do it all at one time, and it makes it super quick and easy. If I don't want to pair any images together, I can even use this batch option and just stomp them all at one time by doing them all individually. So once you've sized all of your images for the blog post, because as photographers, typically our images are the top priority, maybe it's an engagement session or a wedding or a portrait session, or just some personal images of a trip that you went on, you want to make sure those are all sized correctly first, and I always upload the images into the WordPress blog first. I use WordPress, like I just mentioned, for my blog, but I use Showit for the design of my blog. So again, all of these resources and all of these things I'm talking about will be in the free guide below, so make sure you've downloaded that if you haven't already. But I use WordPress, which means I can upload all of the images in there at one time. And then on the right-hand side, I can pre-schedule the blog post. So I'm not going to talk a lot about blog content today because I'm going to dedicate a whole month to that down the road. But once you've decided what you want your content to be, you're going to fill in all of the content, type everything in, complete the blog post, and then you're going to pre-schedule it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like within WordPress. So here's my best of 2018 weddings blog post. This is a post that I recently shared in the last couple of months. And what I did is I went to Add Media, and I uploaded all of the files from that stomped folder first. So I just went to desktop, stomped, and I uploaded all of the images that were for this blog post at one time. And then I go in and I type out my content. I select which category it's going to be, I add the tags, and then I go right here to where it says published, and I'm going to pre-schedule this for the date that I want it to go live. So if it was Monday and I wanted it to go live on Tuesday, I would just select that date and tell it to go live on that day. I schedule mine at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time each time they go live, but the key is that you just want to pre-schedule it and make sure it's saved to not go live right away, because then you're going to click OK, and it will usually say publish, but it's actually going to pre-schedule. So once you have your blog pre-scheduled, the next step is to schedule social media to go along with the blog post. So I do this all at one time. So I complete each blog post and the social media to go along with that blog post before I move on to another blog post. And I do 2 posts a week, Tuesday and Thursday. So this workflow looks the exact same for me every single week. So I've now scheduled this to go live. So I'm going to go over to Facebook and schedule the Facebook post to go live along with the blog post. So what I do is, you can see here where it says permalink, even though it isn't live yet, I can copy this link, and then you can go to Facebook and you can just go down here to create post, and you'll upload one of those photos. Again, I just use one of the stomped images that I did before from BlogStomp. So these aren't going to be the actual best of wedding pictures, so I'm just going to pick a random one. And then I type whatever I want the caption to be. So I'll say there is a brand new post live today, and I'll include that link. And then instead of clicking publish, you're going to click this drop down arrow where it says schedule. And I'm going to schedule a post to go live the same day as my blog post at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so what I do is I schedule one post in the morning and one post in the evening on Facebook. So my post is going to go live both on my blog and on Facebook at 8 a.m. And then I'll do one more Facebook reminder sometime in the evening between 8 and 10 p.m. And that way I know there's 2 Facebook posts going live and functioning on their own as I'm going about my day when the blog post goes live. And so the next thing I'm going to do, the third step, is to schedule your posts on Instagram. So personally, I only schedule about 50% of my posts on Instagram ahead of time. I actually prefer to post on Instagram off the cuff because I can really come up with good captions in the moment. Some people aren't good at that, and that's okay. So I use an app called Planoly to pre-schedule all of my Instagram content. You can see what your whole feed is going to look like ahead of time. You can drag and drop images to see what content looks the best, and you can pre-schedule the whole post, including the caption and the hashtags, and you can even make it go live by itself if you'd like to. So I recommend scheduling the Instagram post to go live whatever your best performing time is during the day that the blog went live. So for me, typically the best performing time is sometime between 10 and 11:30 a.m. So I'll post an Instagram post sometime in that window to direct people to that blog post. That's how I get everybody or all of the social media and content pre-scheduled for my blog. So the first step, blog stomp those images. The second step, schedule the blog post. Third step, schedule the Facebook post to go along with it. I do 2. And then the fourth step and the final step is to share on Instagram. You can also share on Instagram and Instagram stories, but those are a little trickier to pre-schedule. You can do them in Planoly as well if you have graphics that you want to use for Instagram. But if you want to talk to the camera, I just recommend doing those off the cuff. But those are my 4 tips for pre-scheduling your content. That's my exact workflow for pre-scheduling my blog and my social media content. But one of my bonus tips to keep people coming back to your blog over and over and over again is going to be in the free guide below. And it's something that changed the game for me and gets people stuck in the circle of reading my blog posts over and over and over again. And they end up on my blog for minutes and minutes, if not hours of time, because they keep getting sucked back into wanting to read more posts. So if you want that tip, download the guide below. And until then, I will see you guys next week.